So let's just jump right in. We spend so much of our lives online, right? But have you ever really stopped to think about how that world is built? I'm talking about the invisible forces that are quietly shaping everything you see, what you think, and even who you talk to. Today, we're going to go looking for those walls.
You know the feeling. You drop an opinion online and boom, the likes, the shares, the supportive comments just start rolling in. You scroll through your feed and it's like you're surrounded by this giant chorus of people who see the world pretty much exactly the way you do. And yeah, it feels good. It feels validating. But is it actually real?
Well, that feeling is no accident. It's the result of a very carefully designed environment, a personalized bubble that's been built just for you. It's a space that's curated by these invisible walls that filter your reality. And it turns out it's built by two main architects. So our investigation begins now. Who are they?
Okay, our first suspect is the one you hear about all the time. It's the algorithm. That powerful, super complex code that basically acts as the bouncer for your social media feed. But what's its real job? What is its prime directive?
It's actually pretty simple. The goal isn't to make you smarter or even to connect you in a meaningful way. Nope. The number one goal from most of these platforms is just to keep your eyeballs glued to the screen for as long as humanly possible. To do that, they have to get really good at predicting what's going to grab your attention.
So how on earth does it work? Well, according to research from the Institute for Strategic Dialogue, it's basically a four-step race that happens in less than a second. First up, the system takes an inventory. It grabs literally everything it could show you. Then it analyzes thousands of signals for each post, who wrote it, your connection to them, what kind of post it is, you name it. Next, it moves to predictions, guessing how likely you are to actually interact with each piece of content. And finally, every single post gets a score, and they're ranked, creating the feed that you see.
And here's where it gets really fascinating. Not all your clicks are created equal. Not even close. The algorithm values some interactions way more than others. So a simple like, maybe that's worth 1 point. But an emotional reaction, like an angry face or a heart, that's 5 points. And a long, significant comment, that could be worth a whopping 30 points. The whole system is basically designed to push content that gets a big emotional reaction out of you.
Okay, so case closed, right? The algorithm traps us in this perfectly sealed bubble where everyone agrees with us. Well, this is where our investigation takes a really surprising turn.
For years, the story we've all been told is that algorithms create these filter bubbles that we can't escape from. But here's the thing. When researchers actually dig into the real data, the picture gets a whole lot messier. Turns out, the walls of that bubble might not be as solid as we think.
And this right here is the crucial piece of the puzzle. Contrary to the popular story, study after study shows we are not completely cut off. We actually do see, and even interact with, content from people we totally disagree with. The algorithm shows it to us. So, if the algorithm isn't a perfect filter, then what in the world is going on?
And this leads us to our second and honestly probably more powerful suspect. See, it's not just about the code running on the platform. It's also about the ancient code running inside our own heads. We have to look at human psychology.
I mean, this is the big mystery, isn't it? If we are being exposed to different viewpoints, why does it feel like we're all getting more and more polarized, not less? Why does every little disagreement online feel like an all-out war? Well, the answer lies in a powerful little shortcut our brains love to take.
Let me introduce you to confirmation bias. This is a fundamental, hardwired feature of how we think. All of us are built with this natural tendency to look for and accept information that supports what we already believe, and, at the same time, to push away or reject information that challenges those beliefs.
And this bias kind of shows up in 3 main ways. First, you've got biased search. That's when we actively go looking for proof that we're right. Then there's biased interpretation, which is wild. It's how two people can look at the exact same information and both walk away thinking it proves their point. And finally, there's biased recall. We're just better at remembering the little details that fit the story we already tell ourselves.
Biased interpretation is a trip. Let me tell you about this classic Stanford University study. They took 2 groups of people. One group was for capital punishment, the other was against it. Researchers showed both groups the exact same fictional studies, which had all this mixed evidence about whether it actually worked as a deterrent.
The result was absolutely mind-blowing. Instead of maybe finding some common ground, both groups just cherry-picked the data that backed up what they already thought. Any evidence that contradicted them, they just dismissed it as flawed. So everyone walked away more polarized and more sure they were right than when they started. It's crazy. They saw the same facts, but their biases led them to completely opposite conclusions.
So what does it actually feel like when we run into these challenging ideas online? Researchers have a name for it: epistemic discomfort. It's that jarring, kind of irritating feeling you get in your gut when a post just slams into one of your core beliefs. It's not just disagreement, it's this deep feeling that hints, hey, you might actually be wrong about this. And, well, our brains really do not like that feeling.
So now we have our two suspects, the algorithm that's hungry for engagement and our own brains that are allergic to being wrong. And here's the kicker. They aren't working separately. No, they've formed the perfect, powerful partnership.
Let's just walk through how this feedback loop works. Step 1. The algorithm, just trying to get a reaction, shows you a mix of stuff, including things you disagree with. Step 2. Your brain feels that jolt of epistemic discomfort. It's stressful. Step 3. To make that feeling go away, you instinctively scroll past the bad stuff and engage with the posts that make you feel good, the ones that confirm your beliefs. And finally, Step 4. The algorithm sees this. It sees you're giving big points to the comfy stuff, so it learns you prefer agreement over arguments, and it starts showing you more and more of what you already believe. It's a cycle. Our own psychology is actively training the algorithm to build the walls of our bubble higher and stronger.
So here's the most important takeaway. We are not just helpless victims of some all-powerful algorithm. Our own minds, our own biases, are active partners in building these invisible walls around us. And, that leads to the final, most critical question. If we understand the role our own minds play in building the walls, does that mean we also have the power to tear them down? Or maybe we can learn to build a window instead?